The gravy was perfect. Elena had been up since 4 a.m. roasting ducks, and not a single relative had offered to help.
Who cooked this? I haven't tasted flavors like these in years.
It's a family affair, really. We all love to cook.
Elena didn't correct her, not yet. Earlier that morning, the kitchen had been a steam-filled prison. Elena's wrists ached, but the stove didn't care.
It's all she's good for. Honestly, some people are just meant for the stove, not the stage.
Exactly. At least she knows her place. Can you imagine her trying to do what I do?
We all pitched in, of course. I was up at dawn, basting the turkey.
Raymond took a slow bite. His fork hovered. Then his eyes found Elena, and for the first time all evening, he wasn't looking at anyone else. 3 years earlier, at Christmas, the carving knife had sung the same tune.
Honestly, Amanda, your sister is only good for one thing, and she does it well enough.
At least she's consistent. Did you see her face when you said that? Priceless.
That night, Elena sat on her bed and opened a worn leather notebook.
They'll never know the work I put into this. But one day, someone will taste it and understand.
She was right. On weekends, Elena slipped away to small catering jobs, where her name was something like Elise on the invoice. A guest once grabbed her arm and said, "This is the best ratatouille I've ever had."
Thank you. My grandmother taught me.
She never told them about the money she earned, each dollar finding its way into a mason jar hidden in her closet.
One day, this jar will become a restaurant, and they won't be able to ignore me. Ben's father is Raymond Calloway, the restaurant critic. He's coming to Thanksgiving.
The Raymond Calloway? This is our chance to finally be noticed in the right circles. We need to make sure Elena understands. This is not just another holiday, it's an opportunity.
Later, Carol cornered Elena in the kitchen, her voice sharp with warning.
This meal needs to be flawless, Elena. No shortcuts. You represent this family now.
Elena passed the hallway and heard Amanda rehearsing with their mother.
We'll just say it was a family effort. Everyone pitched in. It'll make us look generous. They're going to erase me again. But this critic might actually taste the truth. And the lie.
That night, she slipped into the pantry and touched the box of catering supplies hidden behind the flour.
If he's a real critic, he'll taste the work. I just have to cook like my future depends on it, because it does.
The night before Thanksgiving, Elena set the table alone. Crystal, china, and candlelight, a stage waiting for a critic.
Every fork tine, every wine glass, he'll notice. I can't hide behind their lies. My food will have to speak.
In the silent kitchen, she tied her apron tighter. The rest of the family slept while she prepped for war.
They think I am just the kitchen drudge. But tonight, I am the chef, and they don't even know my menu. Grandma's saffron blend, the one she said would make angels pause. I've never used it for them, but tonight, it's the secret weapon.
She moved through the recipes as if conducting an orchestra, tasting, adjusting, never rushing.
In 6 hours, either I'll be invisible again, or someone will finally see me. I am betting on the food.
Dawn broke. The oven hummed. She pulled out the first test tray of baking bread and inhaled deeply.
This is my restaurant opening, my proving ground. If I fail, it won't be because I held back.
The first guest would arrive in 4 hours. The kitchen was ready. So was she. By 10 a.m., the kitchen was a furnace. Elena's apron was soaked, but she hadn't stopped moving once.
More time, you'll overpower the bird. Remember, this isn't one of your little experiments.
Elena, where's my silver clutch? I need it before Ben gets here. Don't make me late. Raymond judges everything, even the silverware alignment. Don't embarrass me.
Carol arranged flowers with a practiced air, pretending the kitchen didn't exist. The house hummed with expectation. The doorbell rang at 3. Amanda's practiced laughter preceded them into the hall.
Something smells like heaven. That isn't just a bird roasting.
That's my mother's secret recipe. She's been perfecting it for years, and that's my sister. She loves to help in the kitchen.
As they sat, Raymond's gaze swept the table. It lingered on the perfect glaze, then on the silent woman still standing by the kitchen door.
It's a family recipe passed down from my grandmother. Simple, but we love it.
And the demi-glace reduction. What's your timing on the fond?
The reduction. We pretty much let it simmer until it feels right. You know, Mom's instinct.
Raymond's eyes moved to Elena, her knuckles white on the fork.
Because the depth here suggests a precise caramelization. Not many home cooks manage that.
Well, Amanda and I were both in the kitchen all morning. It was quite the operation.
Exactly. We all pitched in. That's what family's for.
Elena caught his stare and dropped her eyes to her plate, her heart drumming.
Whoever cooked this understands layering flavors in a way that's rare. This is restaurant-caliber work.
He knows. He can taste the truth.
The tarragon who decided to bloom it in butter first. That's a detail I rarely see outside professional kitchens.
It's just our family touch. Fresh herbs make it special, that's all.
We're not as precise as your restaurants. But the heart is there, right?
But Raymond's eyebrow arched. That answer betrayed a cook who'd never heard of blooming herbs.
His gaze is fixed on me now, sharp and unblinking.
You have a chef's hands, the calluses, the way you handle your fork. Am I wrong?
Elena's pulse thundered in her ears. Every eye at the table turned toward her.
Raymond, please. She's just the quiet type. Let's not put her on the spot.
I'd like to hear from the person whose soul is clearly in this food.
If I confess, I expose them. If I stay silent, they steal my soul. I cooked it all. Every dish, every sauce, every garnish. It was just me.
The silence that followed was heavier than any argument. No one moved.
This is better than most restaurants I review. Why are you not running a kitchen?
Carol's fork clattered onto her plate. The sound cut through the tension like a glass shatter.
He sees me. After years of being invisible, one stranger saw the truth.
You have a gift, Elena. Real, rare talent. Don't let it go to waste.
Amanda opened her mouth to object, but Ben placed a hand on her arm, stopping her. Amanda looked at Carol, her eyes pleading for rescue. But Carol just stared at her plate, and for the first time, a surprised, proud, half-smile flickered across Elena's exhausted face.
Your food speaks for itself, Elena. Thank you for an unforgettable meal. Call this number. There's a chef incubator program, mentorship, a kitchen, a path to ownership.
Elena's hand trembled as she took the card. It felt heavier than any dish she'd ever carried.
Elena, don't be ridiculous. You are not leaving your family to chase some fantasy.
This card is real. A door. After years of closed kitchens, someone finally handed me a key.
Elena met her mother's glare and slid the card into her pocket. Her jaw set. Ben looked at Elena with new respect. Amanda turned away, her expression sour.
The food doesn't lie, Elena. Neither should your future. Call them. Use my name.
This is exactly what I meant, Raymond. She gets ideas above her station. It's just enthusiasm.
I'll make that call. Thank you, Mr. Calloway.
For the first time, Elena felt the weight of a decision that was entirely hers to make. After the guests left, the front door's click echoed like a cell locking. The real storm had just begun.
You've ruined everything, Elena. Amanda could have had his endorsement, a real foot in the door.
I didn't ruin anything. I just told the truth for once in this house.
Amanda shoved past Ben, her eyes wet with fury, and joined the attack.
You think you are so special? You are just the cook, the hired help.
I've catered over 30 events. I have $12,000 saved. I don't need your permission or your approval. I'm not your puppet.
Carol's face went pale. She hadn't known about the money or the secret catering.
Then go. Be their little chef. See if I care.
She stormed out, Ben casting one last apologetic look at Elena before following. Elena stood alone in the kitchen, the critic's card warm against her palm. This wasn't the end of the argument. It was the beginning of her life. The next morning, Elena sat in her small apartment, the business card on the table. Her coffee grew cold as she rehearsed the words.
If I don't make this call, I'll never know. And I am tired of not knowing.
Her fingers dialed. The phone rang twice before a warm voice answered. That afternoon, Elena met Maria at the incubator kitchen. Stainless steel, fresh herbs, a real budget. Maria laid out the terms: mentorship, a space, and a business track. You have the skills, Maria said. The program covers what you don't know: marketing, finance, the business side.
This is everything I taught myself. Finally, with a name and a path. I am not just a cook anymore.
As she walked out, her phone buzzed. Carol's name flashed on the screen.
I know you are talking to those people. Stop this nonsense now, Elena. Come home.
Number. I am building my own home now. Goodbye, Carol.
She hung up and didn't look back. Later that evening, Elena signed the incubator agreement, committing every dollar of her savings. The months blurred into a rhythm of workshops and late-night planning. Elena's savings turned into skills. Her grandmother's recipe book became a business plan, each ingredient now a line item.
I can do this. The money, the menu, the mission. Everything is lining up.
It's just a phase. She'll crawl back when she runs out of cash.
Elena heard the gossip, but kept scrolling through real estate listings until she found it. A small corner spot with a bay window, dusty but begging for light.
I can see the tables, the open kitchen, my name on the door.
She ran her hand along the exposed brick and felt a certainty she'd never felt before. The lease was a 5-year commitment. It would take every cent she had saved. Elena picked up the pen, her heart pounding, and lowered it toward the paper. She signed the lease. The pen scratched her name into a 5-year promise. She grabbed a paintbrush and started with the walls, each stroke a silent answer to every doubt.
This place will be mine. I am not painting over their words. I am painting my own future.
Over weeks, the dust settled into a warm, inviting dining room. She hung the sign, Heart and Hearth, above the door. She stood outside, admiring the sign, when her phone vibrated. Carol's name lit the screen. The message read, "You'll fail like you always do. Just come home." She deleted it, then blocked the number without a second thought. In the final week, she barely slept, testing recipes until they were flawless, hiring staff who believed in her.
Every dish I've ever made has led to this. I am ready.
The night before opening, she stood alone outside, the warm glow from the windows lighting her name above the door. The door opened. Laughter and the scent of fresh thyme filled heart and hearth as the first guests arrived. They admired the warm lighting, the exposed brick, and Elena's grandmother's recipes framed on the wall. In the kitchen, Elena worked with precision, each plate a piece of art. No one could call her useless now. She glanced through the pass and saw familiar faces, incubator colleagues, neighbors, all there for her. Then the door opened again, and Raymond Calloway stepped in, his presence quiet but unmistakable. He took a corner table, ordered the tasting menu, and watched the room with his critic's eye.
He's here. Now it's real. The whole year comes down to this one dinner.
Raymond cut into the duck confit, tasted it, and paused. Then he looked up and gave Elena a slow, deliberate nod. Her heart surged. Validation didn't need words, just that small gesture of approval from the man who tasted the world. She exhaled a smile, then glanced at the table by the window, the one she'd reserved for family that never came. The morning paper landed on Carol's doorstep with a thud. She unfolded it over coffee, and the headlines stopped her cold. Her lips pressed into a thin line. Her knuckles whitened around the mug.
Look at this. A wait list for weeks. She actually did it.
She shoved the screen toward Carol, who stared as if the pixels could bite.
She'll still fail. A bad review, and it all crumbles.
Mom, she's already won. There's a line around the block.
Carol said nothing. She set the paper down and stared at the blank wall, her silence heavier than any curse. Outside Heart and Hearth, people queued on the sidewalk, peering through the warm windows at the bustling dining room. Elena's name was on lips across town, not as the family cook, but as the chef who'd made her own table. And 2 miles away, Carol and Amanda sat in a house that felt emptier than it had in decades. A week after opening, Raymond returned, this time alone with a notepad and quiet focus. He ordered the tasting menu and wrote observations between each course, nodding occasionally. When he finished, he left a single folded note on the white tablecloth. Elena found it while clearing. Her eyes scanned the neat handwriting, her breath catching. The note read, "I knew that night you were extraordinary. Keep proving them wrong. RC." She pinned it to the corkboard in the kitchen, next to her grandmother's recipe.
This is more than a review. This is someone seeing me when my own family wouldn't.
The restaurant thrived. A month later, they were fully booked every night. She hired more staff, refined the menu, and moved through the kitchen with calm command. Elena Hart was no longer the family's secret cook. She was the name on everyone's lips. 2 months after opening, Elena's phone buzzed. The caller ID read, Amanda.
Elena, it's Amanda. I want to bring some colleagues tonight for dinner. Could you squeeze us in?
Now they want a table. After years of calling me useless, I am sorry. We're fully booked for the foreseeable future.
But I am your sister. You can make an exception.
The guest list is for people who supported me. Goodbye, Amanda.
The line went dead. Amanda stared at her phone, the reality settling in like a cold weight. In the house that now felt too large, Amanda slammed the phone down. Carol looked away, saying nothing. Elena hung up, smiled softly, and returned to her kitchen. For the first time, their exclusion didn't feel like loss. It felt like freedom. 1 year after that Thanksgiving, Elena closed the restaurant early. The tables were empty, the chairs upturned. She lit a single candle and sat alone. From her pocket, she drew a worn recipe card. Her grandmother's handwriting faded but familiar.
She never saw any of this, but she always knew I could.
All those afternoons learning to measure by heart, to season by instinct, her grandmother had planted the first seed.
She would be proud.
She traced the ink with her fingertip, a single tear spilling onto the card. Then she looked up, the candle flickering, and felt something she hadn't in years. Peace, not because of the success or the reviews, but because she finally stopped seeking their permission.
I built this. With my own hands, with her recipes. That's enough.
And in that quiet dining room, surrounded by the life she'd made, Elena smiled. She was, at last, exactly where she belonged. A few weeks later, Raymond Calloway's column went live. The headline gleamed on every screen. The article read, "The Find of the Year. Elena Hart serves plates that don't just feed, they tell the truth." Elena read the words on her tablet, and a quiet, knowing smile spread across her face.
He saw what they refused to see. That's all I ever wanted. Not their approval, just the truth.
Across town, Carol sat in her living room, scrolling through the same article on her phone. The bitterness was gone. In its place sat a raw, quiet sorrow. A single tear traced the line of her jaw, the first she had shed for her daughter in decades.
Mom, maybe we should call her. Say something. It's been a year.
Carol shook her head, slowly, the motion heavier than any words. The article lay open between them like a final verdict. Elena had won, but they had lost something they could never get back. 6 months later, the sound of construction echoed through heart and hearth. Elena was expanding the dining room to meet the endless demand. The kitchen now had 2 new stations, and she moved among her staff with the ease of a captain. A national magazine came to interview her. The cover announced, Elena Hart, setting her own table.
I learned that the only table that matters is the one you set yourself.
She posed for the photographer in her chef whites, her smile unforced and steady.
The article didn't mention my family. There was no need. This story is mine.
That evening, the line stretched around the block. Couples, food enthusiasts, a city that knew her name. The useless daughter had built an empire with her own 2 hands, and somewhere across town, a house sat silent, its windows dark. Carol didn't call. The invitation never came. Elena didn't need it anymore. She had already set her own table. On a quiet Sunday, Elena stood in her own kitchen, humming a melody her grandmother used to hum. No rush, no orders, no critics. Just the gentle simmer of a pot and the feel of a wooden spoon. She plated the simple dish, roasted vegetables, a piece of fish, a drizzle of herb oil that smelled like summer. At her small dining table, she set a single plate, lit a candle, poured a glass of wine for herself.
This is enough. A meal made with care for myself. That's all I ever needed.
She raised her glass, not to anyone in particular, but to the quiet, to the woman she had become. Her eyes drifted to the recipe card propped on the counter, her grandmother's faded handwriting, a silent companion.
Love is in the details, Grandma said. I never forgot.
The candle flickered softly as she sat back, the stillness wrapping around her like a familiar apron, and the camera pulled back slowly, leaving her there, a woman at peace, in a kitchen of her own making, exactly where she belonged. Outside heart and hearth, the night was quiet, the line was gone, but the warmth remained, spilling from the windows like honey. The sign, simple and elegant, glowed like a promise kept, heart and hearth above the door. The useless daughter had turned out to be the most talented person at every table, not because they finally saw her, but because she finally saw herself. She didn't need their invitation. She didn't wait for their permission. She built her own table, set it with love, and invited the world to taste her truth. And the world came, not for the drama, but for the soul in every dish, the love in every detail. Elena Hart became proof that the quiet ones often carry the loudest gifts. She didn't need their invitation. She built her own table, and from that table, a light shone that no one could dim.